Hey, so I'm back today and I wanted to do a little twist on the what I ate in a day type of video. I have been doing a lot of those lately and I feel like they're getting repetitive and I am someone who eats a lot of the same foods very regularly. That's just how I naturally am. But today I thought that I could just do my favorite meals that I've made this week. So I have four meals that I feel are really like easy, straightforward, and I do have the Weight Watchers points for all of them. I'm on day 16, so I'm right in the middle of a Whole30, and so currently my meals are grain-free, dairy-free, added sugar-free, and some other various things. So one of the biggest things with the Whole30 specifically is it sounds like it's going to be really, really hard. You're like, what am I going to eat? And I was already dairy free, but I was not like grain and sugar free. And you kind of start to realize how much crap is in your food when you start to really read labels. Because I'm a label reader, but I'm not like, I don't freak out if there's like cane sugar in my chicken broth and stuff. So it's been a little bit harder to find stuff, but not really that complicated. And I am someone who I don't really follow a lot of recipes. I like meals that are easy to put together, whether I've already prepped them or not. I do a lot of like kind of stir fry, saute type vibes, and you will see that. So let's get on to the food. My first meal was leftovers that I brought for lunch one day. This is probably the highest in points because it's probably the highest in fat that I had this week. Doesn't really matter. I made some sauteed green beans, just like fresh green beans, sauteed them in a pan with some vegetable broth. And then I cooked an Adels or Adels, I don't know how you say that, chicken apple sausage, super easy. Put it in the oven for like 10 minutes. Threw some Yai's Thai green curry sauce, very good, and guacamole. The points come from 5 points for the sausage. I approximated 2 points for the curry sauce, although there wasn't that much on there, and then 2 points for guacamole. So that meal was 9 points. That's a very high point meal for me. I don't typically go that high, but it was very good and very filling. So my second meal is my everyday breakfast. I love to eat the same thing for breakfast, whether I'm doing a eating plan or not. I eat the same thing for months at a time, and then I will switch. I do scrambled eggs, super easy. I bulk it up with a little bit of egg whites. It makes it a little more fluffy because I like a fluffier scrambled egg, as you can tell. I throw spinach or mixed greens in, cherry tomatoes. I put Frank's on it this day. Frank's hot sauce has been one of my favorite things in the last week. I don't know where that came from. I'm not really a hot sauce type of person, but I've been really into it. So I did 3 points of a potato and 2 points of avocado. What I'm noticing on Whole30 is I stay far more full if I do sweet potato versus white potato. I just have a lot of white potatoes this week. I have a bag of organic russet potatoes that I'm trying to work through, but I do find that sweet potatoes hold me over longer. Meal 3 is kind of a random one. I ended up doing kind of an Asian-y stir fry. I put olive oil, garlic, ginger into a pan, let that saute for a little bit, and then I threw in carrots, celery, onions. You could throw in whatever you want, broccoli, anything like that. I let it kind of chill for a bit, and then I put some green beans in, put a little more liquid. I tend to cook a lot with like veggie broths. It helps kind of steam things and it adds a little more flavor than if you were just trying to steam with like water or whatever. And then I threw in the spaghetti squash. I threw in some chicken breast that I had already cooked. You could obviously, cook that first or cook it before you threw in the veggies. And then so I did something kind of random with this meal though. I ended up wanting it to be a little bit different. So I put in a splash of apple cider vinegar. No idea why I decided to do it. I just did it. And then I did a dash of Chinese 5 spice. So it has kind of a cinnamony taste to it, but it's not strong because that sounds kind of gross. And then I did a bunch of coconut aminos, and it turned out to be really good. And it was so filling. This one that I've showed, I've already been eating off of because I almost forgot to record it, but I really wanted to show it because it was such a random throw everything together meal, but it was so good and so filling. And you could actually drizzle like almond butter on it if you wanted a little more fat in it, but this was so filling as is, and I was content the rest of the night. I didn't feel like snacking at all. As far as I can tell, it's only 1 point for the coconut aminos. Otherwise, everything else is 0 points. And I think this is kind of where Freestyle is like confusing for people, because you really are eating a full meal, like full meal, but it's only 1 point. And so I think this is maybe where people, when you're on Freestyle, can go overboard, because if you eat this huge Freestyle 1 point meal, you could potentially have a ton of points left over. So that's kind of where I'm struggling with Freestyle a little bit, but it was a really good 1 point meal. The thing I love about meals like that is that you could sub anything in for that. You could put any kind of vegetable that you like. You could use frozen veggies and just kind of like toss them all together at the end. You could do whatever you want. So my last meal is one that I have definitely showed before on my what I ate in a days, but this is such a good like quick meal or quick lunch. So I just packed a huge container of greens. I always eat all of them. I'm trying to eat a lot of greens this week. I have a huge container I need to use up, and I just took a can of tuna, put some Primal Kitchen mayo in, a bunch of mustard, pickles, onions, and I always put cumin in my tuna salad. So I did cumin and then salt and pepper, mixed it all together, let it sit overnight, of course. And then I used the Tessie Mae's creamy ranch dressing. It is so good, such a good salad dressing. And I just throw the tuna on top, and it looks kind of gross, so I kept it separate to show you guys, but I just throw it on top, eat it. I had 2 clementines with it, and it was so good and so filling. I ate that today for lunch, and it is currently about 4:30, and I am still perfectly content, and I ate it at about 11:45. So for my tuna salad, it is 6 points, and I think that that's a really good filling 6-point meal. These are the 4 meals that I've eaten this week. You can tell that I eat really basic. I like flavor, but I don't like to follow recipes all the time. I just don't. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but I just like want to make something. I want to be hungry and make something and have it turn out delicious. And all of these meals were really, really great. And so I've been super happy on my Whole30. I made this video specifically to show people like you can eat Weight Watchers, you can eat Whole30 and have it be super healthy and nutrient dense, and not have it be stressful, and not have it to be fancy or anything like that. So I would like to know anybody's suggestions for meal ideas. If you have found anything either on Weight Watchers or on Whole30 that is like pretty easy fallback meal or anything like that, I would love to hear people's suggestions, because I love knowing what people eat. For whatever reason, I love that. And I just like, new ideas are always super, super helpful. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.